Good morning now. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to discuss high angle, a case right now, and it's got two important things in here to learn, and one of them is to not put a crown or put any kind of a filling on a deciduous tooth that is abscessed, that you think you've done the root canal, but it's very difficult to do. And let me show you what it does to the permanent tooth that's underneath there. And that is an important thing to know. And then the other is the high angle, and we're going to try to reduce the high angle, and I'll kind of show you what the high angle is. You may be able to, many of you know that to start with, but this is what we call a high angle case. In other words, the jaw is, I'm sorry, I have to go back here. Let me get the little number going here. Okay. When you see this like this, this distance from the nose to down on the chin is far greater than this is right up here. And it's as this lower third of the face gets more, you're operating off of here, this swings back. And you get to a point down here where you get one more millimeter down, it'll be a millimeter back. It'll look like you don't have enough jaw length, whereas if you could close this up, the jaw length would look pretty normal in here. Now we can't win the whole thing here, but we're going to make it look a little better by doing things like removing teeth or taking away the pressure the teeth have to open the bite. We reduce the teeth so the pressure is less and the muscles will close the bite more. So here, when you look at it, this lady has a gummy smile up here, and we don't really like to see that. Now, the upper lip, if a person's breathing through their mouth, they're keeping their mouth open and the teeth erupt further into the mouth, and that makes this distance more. And then they're keeping the mouth open and the lip doesn't get pulled down. And so you can teach people to do their lip and stretch it and pull it down so that the lip is not so short right here. But this gummy smile comes along with the high angle developing here, and it's usually something associated with mouth breathing, and that's associated with allergies and so many things. It's hard for us to get rid of that in this environment we live. Let me show you the models now. The bite is not, as far as class 2 relation, it's pretty good. This is good right here. And so we're going to reduce the teeth, and then we let if it's real high, we'll take the wisdom teeth too. Now, one of these teeth is a crown deciduous tooth, and it's affected the developing bicuspid underneath there. And that's the part I want to really stress with you on here. And the other side, same situation. And this is and we're going to extract their wisdom teeth in addition. So we reduce teeth and reduce them back here too. And that puts fewer teeth in between the muscle force that this person is using. So it'll help bring the face down to some extent, but not enough to actually close it up that way. Now these other teeth, cross bites and things like this, we can handle that in doing the case. So this case is going to take a while to show, but it's got something. If you're doing orthodontics and you try to work on a high angle case, you need to understand what I'm talking about here today. So let me go on there. We take out the deciduous second molars, And here's the cephalometric picture, and you can see this jaw going down here. In other words, this angle up here at where the condyle is, it's a high angle, and this, if we could reduce this angle, this jaw would move in this direction. And so you could, the further it goes down, the worse it gets. And it gets to the point when it's 45 degrees in here, and you go down 1 millimeter, you'll go back a millimeter. So that's, if you get it too high and you're working on a high angle case, just any kind of movement of the teeth causes them to exfoliate to a certain extent. So we put blocks in the back here and work off of it now. We didn't use it back then, but we do later. Now here are these deciduous teeth. You see this tooth was rotted out pretty bad right in here. And this one is a big abscess down here too. And somebody crowned, or they thought they did a root canal that killed everything, but they didn't. And they put a stainless steel crown on these teeth. And this tooth right here will turn up and be headed kind of like this, with a root going down toward the cortical bone over in this area. Let's, I'll show that. Now here it is. Let me see, the date on this was 1979 right here. And then in 85, in other words, 6 years later, they put a crown on this at some time in between there, and this abscess went down here and formed a pressure. Actually, the little abscess areas in a kind of a sac, kind of like a follicle, and moved this tooth from this point right here. You look at this tooth now and watch where it goes. And this follicle forms up here and gets bigger and bigger and pushes that tooth down like this. The root is developing down here into the cortical bone. Now, since it's a high angle case, we plan to take the teeth out anyway, so we're going to remove that, and we'll have to go send somebody down here to take this tooth out. And my voice is terrible. That comes with old age, so I can't do a whole lot about that. But we can make it louder, but it's still not very clear. Now we're going in and take these out, these permanent bicuspid up here, second bis, and you take the second bis out and you'll have very little reduction in the profile out here, and we get the wisdom teeth. So to reduce this angle on this case, we did everything we thought about other than putting bonded blocks here and closing it down that way. But we took these teeth out, and it helped the case a pretty good bit. Now we got the teeth out, and now we'll slide these teeth forward in here, and it's in a class 1 relation. And this is 1986, and I will go through and we have these teeth touching right there. And that's where we brought this tooth. Now she had to have a root canal done in this tooth right there, and this is just before we took the braces off. I've got several more slides here, I think a duplicate. But here was this tooth right here. Now, this is the baby tooth, and you see it's rotten all down in here. And so they thought they did the root canal and cleaned it out and everything, and they crowned the thing. And in 6 years later, we see this tooth right here is turned upside. No, it's like this. And the root is running into the cortical bone. Now look at it just right there. That's the same tooth, but 6 years later. And that's what crowning a deciduous tooth that is abscessed, and that should never have been done to start with. And you can see what it did to that tooth. And so this is caused by like a follicular movement, except this follicular movement here was probably a abscessed area that's closed in too, and it's pushing down on this tooth as it develops. And so we had to, in taking this case to lower the vertical, we took teeth out on it. All right, here now we'll go through the regular orthodontics right quick. I don't need to cover all the straightening up of that. That's just simple, easy orthodontics. We're using some real good brackets with these little wings on them, and that's probably the safest brackets you can use. Those wings will help you rotate the tooth, but you have to clean the teeth off and put concealant on it before you use this type of bracket. But this bracket, you can rotate the teeth very easily with that. Now we've got an intruding arch over here, so it's down, and we're raising it up, and it's pushing these teeth down in this direction. Now this regular orthodontics from here on out, and we'll have to close that space and put the tip in there to bring the teeth parallel back, and I'm going to run through that pretty quick. Here you can see the bends we put in the arch wire, bringing it back and closing that space up, and closing where you had the bicuspids removed. And here it is, just about to finish it. And we'd have a bite plate on it after we got through. Now when you started in 85, it was like that. And then we have the braces on it. We've got it looking better now. It's less here. And so this is 87 after we move the teeth around like that. And then there we did from the side at 85. And I forget what the date here, I don't have it on there, but it's almost down to a normal height in this area. So this is the smile, and you remember the smile before was had a gum line. I mean, if I go back here, you see the gumminess of the smile. People can learn to pull their lip down and they can stretch it. If these plantar lip people can build one that goes out here, you can do yours like that, and you can stretch the upper lip where it won't show that much. But anyway, by lowering the jaw, the actual jaw moves up in this direction, and that keeps you from showing. And probably we got our breathing good too. So that's the final thing that we ended up. Did you completely correct it on everything? But it's like that. It's still a little bit on the high angle. But if you just look at this with her lips together and everything, you just don't pick it up. Now this is a difficult type of case to do, and there's several things that you should not do, and that's crown those deciduous abscess teeth when you think you got the everything out of there, and you can do that. Now I know 1,000 pulpotomies on healthy deciduous teeth, and honest to God, has never had one of them blow up on me. Now there's one that did. It was done by an old surgeon who didn't really know how to pack the zinc oxide eugenol in there. So anyway, high angle cases are cases that if you're just starting, don't mess with them for a while till you can really get where you can do the orthodontics and know how to do. So I'm going to close out here and say goodbye, and hope you'll join our group and subscribe to it. And I will stop this right here. Thank you very much.